Okay. So they said that we must find X, Y, and Z. I think they said in that order, right? X, Y, and Z. Oh, they just said X, Y, and Z. So let's go first find X and then Y, and then we can find Z. Although in this case, we actually can't do it in that order. We'll see. So guys, if we're looking for X, right, it's this angle over here. Now, the first thing that you need to identify is what chord or arc subtends this angle X. That's the first thing that you're going to look for. And if we are looking at arc BCD, right, do we agree that arc BCD is subtending angle X? Because we have two lines, you're going to look at the two lines that are forming that angle basically, and then you can work backwards to actually get the arc that is subtending that angle. All right. Now guys, which other angle is subtended by the same arc? The 70-degree angle, right? And are they both at the circumference? X and 70? No. 70 is at the center, X is at the circumference. We know that the angle at the center is always 2 times double the one at the circumference. So guys, if the one at the center is 70, the one at the circumference is going to have to be 35. Okay, so that is our first answer. We're going to say X is equal to 35 degrees. And then you have to write that long reason. Angle at center equals 2 times angle at circumference. Now that would be worth 2 marks. Okay, you'll get a mark for your answer and a mark for your reason. Now, how it works is that if you just have the answer, you can get 1 mark, right? If you left your reason out, you can still get 1 mark. But if your answer is wrong, say you wrote X equals 70, and then you wrote the correct reason, you won't get that reason mark. Okay, in order to get the reason mark, the answer has to be correct. Okay, are we fine with that one, guys? Finding X. I'll move back to this just now. I just want to move across to the picture again. Now we need to find Y next, but we don't actually have a way of finding Y. What I think we should do is we need to find Z. Do we notice that 70 and Z are around the point? Remember, angles are on the point, right? 360 degrees. So we're actually going to have to find Z first. So Z is going to be equal to 360 minus 70. You don't have to write that calculation, but just for the note, let's write it down so that you know exactly what we did. So that is going to give you an answer of 290 degrees. And the reason for that, guys, you can either write revolution, which is shorter, so you'll probably prefer that one, or you can write angles around a point. And you'll get 2 marks regardless of which one of those reasons you've used. So it could be 1 mark for the 290 and then 1 mark for one of those 2 reasons. You can decide which one. And now, guys, to find Y, I want you to turn your pictures around, your book around, if you are able to do that. Because what we're going to do to find Y is we are going to use angle at center again, but now this is the arc that we're going to look at. This is the difficult one to actually see. All right, we're looking at that. It's called a major arc, that one. If you look at those 2 lines, right, coming from the end points of major arc BE, those 2 lines meet and they subtend angle Z. The thing with subtending an angle, an arc or a chord only subtends an angle if it's on the same side as that arc or chord, right? So you can't say that this arc is subtending 70 degrees. This arc has to subtend the angle that's like on the same side, underneath those lines in this case. All right, so the major arc depends angle Z. Okay. But then also the major arc depends Y. Because again, we have two lines going from those endpoints, meeting up and forming angle Y. So we're going to use angle at center with Z and Y in this case. And for an arc or for this dependent angle, it always has to be on the same side of those lines. All right, so what did we say? Z is 290, right? So Y is the one at the circumference. Y is going to have to be half of 290. Okay, which is what? 145. Okay, so we're going to say Y is equal to 145 degrees, and then your reason again is going to be angle at center equals 2 times angle at again, that would be worth 2 more. Okay, any questions on number 1, guys? Number 2 is similar. So we are going to look at that one now. In number 2, actually, can you guys try number 2 on your own quickly? I'll put it on the board for you now. It's very similar. The order of the calculations is just different from what we've done now. And I'm just trying to get it the same size. That is number 2. All right, so now what you're going to do, you're going to do Z, Y, X. And that's the order that you're going to go. So you're going to find Z first, and then Y, and then so Z, Y, X. So you can do that one on your own quickly. Okay. Those are my three answers. I'll show you now on the picture. If you can agree with that. So to find Z, I did highlight it here. We're looking at that funny shape again that we had up here with the pink. Okay. So 118 degrees is subtended by major arc EFG. Right? Do we see that? Because we have the two lines meeting up, forming that angle. And the angle has to be on the same side as the arc. Okay, so that 118. But then the same arc, guys, is subtending angle Z. Right? Again, it has to be on the same side as the arc. So Z is at the center, 118 is at the circumference. So Z, oh dear, oopsie, yeah, it's supposed to be double. Sorry, I was texting you guys well done. Passing in my teeth. So what is it? 236. There we go. I saw such black face and I was like, yo, what happened here? Okay, there we go. So this is 360 minus 236 is 124. Well done, guys, for doing that correctly when I did it incorrectly. And then, do we agree that this arc here, minor arc EHD, subtends Y, right? You see that the arc and the angle have to be on the same side. And then this arc also subtends angle X. So if that one is 124, this one at the circumference has to be half, which is 62 degrees. There you go. Okay, so 6 for that as well, guys. So you can give yourselves marks there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's also fine if you wrote the angles around the point. Okay, next one, number 3. We just have to move this up here. Okay, so now we need to find X, Y, and Z. Now we have a bit more going on here than in the previous one. Guys, if we're looking at X, and also, I mean, it is, obviously you need to look at the angle that they've given you because you're going to have to use that angle, right? They've given us one angle here, a 30-degree angle, and that angle is subtended by KL, right? So we're all fine with that. KL, this arc subtends that 30-degree angle there. Now guys, KL also subtends angle X, right? We said that KL is subtending that 30-degree angle because we have a line from K and a line from L and they meet up at that angle. Right, so KL is subtending that 30-degree angle, but KL is also subtending angle X, right? And they're both at the circumference. So what does that mean? X is also going to be 30 degrees. Then what about Z? Isn't Z also subtended by KL? Yes, right? So Z is also going to be 30 degrees. And then Y? Yes, for X and Z is going to be angles in the same segment. And what about Y? Y is also subtended by KL, but is Y at the circumference? No, it's at the center. So Y is going to be 60 degrees, right? The one at the center has to be double the angle at the circumference. So at the circumference we have 30 degrees, at the center it's going to be double that, 60. Okay, so let's write that all down. I'm going to write here X is 30 and Z is 30 degrees. So if you notice that, right, that you're going to use the same reason for two of them, you can write it all in one line and then say angles in same segment. That will save you some time. And then Y is going to be 60 degrees because of angle at center equals 2 times angle at This is also a 6-mark question, guys. So you'll get a mark for each of your 3 values. And then because it's the same reason here, you'll get 2 marks for that, and then 1 mark for that. But realistically in a test, they'll probably just give 1 mark for having that reason, even if you wrote it twice. Because it's the exact same process that you are repeating. Okay, any questions, guys, on these 3 that we've done now? I would like you to do that second worksheet that I handed out to you. Now, even though many of you probably did it last year, like, don't worry about that. It was a long time ago. So see if you can do that worksheet. I want you to do the whole thing, please. We still have about 4 minutes left. Now, guys, in the instructions, they've said write down answers only, but keep the reasons in mind. I do want you to write the reasons down. Okay, they won't tell you in a technical exam to not write the reasons. So please, for that one, you are going to write reasons. And guys, some of them are not only going to include like angles in same segment and angle at center. Some of them might include, like if we're looking at number 6, do we see that they're parallel lines in number 6? So you can maybe do alternate angles there. In number, let's see what else. Number 9, 10, 11, and 12. There's some other stuff there as well, right? In number 9, you have, sorry, there's 9. You have equal lines there, right? That's an isosceles triangle. You might use that. Now, guys, I do actually want to let's fill in some. Let's label some of these points because otherwise you won't be able to fill in all your in-between steps. Okay, so let's just all do that together with me. For number 1, we don't have to. For number 2, we don't have to. 3 is fine. 4, 6, that's just a 5. 7 is fine. 8. Sorry, I'm just checking for which ones we actually have to label. Okay, it will only be these last 4. Let's do A, B. Can you all just fill this in on your pictures, please? Just label those points. A, B, C, D, E. Because you're probably not going to be able to go straight from this angle to get R. You're going to have to show some in-between work. All right, so you will then be able to label the angles. If you're working on other angles before you get to R, and then we'll call this P, Q, R, S, and point T. How about that small ways? Yeah, so this is just if you want to find, I mean, you don't actually have to find this one. You can just call this one U. But if you maybe want to calculate that little angle there, then you'll just call it PST. Okay. Just in case. For the next one, you don't actually need any letters. For this one, you might. So let's do, just do A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D, and then just call that one E as well. No. Are we doing both target challenges? No, you're not doing the rest of the target worksheet. You won't be able to. Yes. You haven't learned all that stuff. So you're just doing this worksheet. Okay, does it work for the rest of the lesson, guys? Please keep going. And you can ask me to get stuck.